Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone, to this special edition of the Stogie Geeks Show. I'm your host, Paul Asadorian. I'm here with Todd and Brenda from next door at the Havana Cigar Club. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So we decided to do this little segment. I'm going to pick up my cigar here. When the Cigar Aficionado Top 25 list came out, we were trying to find some of the cigars to smoke to see what we thought of them in comparison to what Cigar Aficionado thought of them. I kind of have some thoughts. I've smoked through quite a few on the list, and many of which I bought next door. So Todd was like, well, we should sit down and talk about one of those cigars. And then he said, well, we have to do it in the morning. I'm like, okay, that really limits our choices because there's not a lot of mild cigars on that list at all.
Next segment can be later on, but this one had to be in the morning.
So I chose one of the cigars that really surprised me from the list. Surprised me being on the list. It surprised me when I smoked it, actually, how good it was. And that's the Ashton Estate Sungrown, or ESG 22-year Salute. It's actually last year's
cigar.
It's not the most recent one. Is the 23-year Salute. So it talks all about this cigar, which you can read on Cigar Aficionado's website. It's a Dominican Puro 6x52 Torpedo. They list the price as $20, but your retail is going to differ.
Yeah, depending on taxes, things like that.
So here in Rhode Island, what do we retail?
It's about $23.
Okay, and the member discount.
Member discount would bring them down to under $20, or right around that $20 mark.
Mm-hmm. They gave it a 93. They really liked it. It scored It was actually number 8 cigar of the year for 2014. I find it to be somewhat medium bodied. I don't think it's light. I mean,
no, it's.
You can smoke it in the morning, right?
Yeah, no, it's right pushing that medium without going over, so it's really light, nice cup of coffee, morning smoke.
It smokes like that. I'm actually an ESG fan, so the last third of this cigar does strengthen up on you, not flavor wise, but all of a sudden you start realizing there's more nicotine in this than you expected. That's why I was a little leery for the morning because I'm a lightweight compared to you two on strength of cigars. Yeah. And but it's one of my favorite cigars. I smoke the ESG all the time.
Now, a lot of people will say that it's overpriced and not worth it. I felt that about maybe some of the other ESGs, to be honest with you. I felt like sometimes the experience doesn't quite hold up to the price tag. This one I was very surprised, and what brought my confidence up in this cigar really was the flavor experience. Yep. And that's something that I've experienced in all the cigars from the Cigar Aficionado list. While the whole experience may not be there for me, in that flavor category,
they're good.
They're good. They're spot on. And I noticed that really in the middle of this cigar, not in the even less of the first third down to the end, like the middle 2/3 of the cigar really were very good and all about flavor.
Sure. And I think one of the things that happens when you get in that rarefied era, the $20 plus cigar, you have the options of some of the high-end Padron anniversaries.
Absolutely.
You've got the ESG. You've got just barely into that range. You've got some of the Preferido tubes of La Aurora. And there's just so much competition at that level that sometimes the ESG, depending on which make and model, doesn't always hold up to when you can go to that Padron anniversary in that price point, or the La Aurora Preferido tubes. Makes it a little bit tougher because it's more of a traditional smoke.
Now they say that the wrapper comes from Chateau de la Fuente, and it's a sun-grown Cuban seed leaf, obviously grown under shade. They kind of repeat themselves there, but I think the wrapper is obviously where you get most of the flavor from, and I think the choosing of this wrapper is what really makes this cigar special.
It does. Even when you smoke the 23, which is that smaller size, which is the unique size that Fuente didn't even have. That's why it took so long. They had to make the mold before they could do it. You really get a lot of that sun-grown flavor, and I mean that's the key to this stick. Is
I
no
think
question
that's the flavor that's pouring through.
It's smooth. It's nice.
It is very
goes down
smooth.
very easy.
Now, did you find it to be a little unbalanced when you first lit it up?
I wouldn't say unbalanced. It felt like I was waiting to get a little bit more out of it.
Like it takes time to get going, right?
Once you get into it, you start picking up more of that taste, a little more sweetness. But yeah, it takes a little bit to settle it. I find most cigars
cigars
has
do
that. You know, I tell a lot of people, don't just take a couple drags and be like, oh, I don't really like this. Take a little while, get into it. Let the cigar actually stop burning, start picking up more of those flavors and notes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Without a question.
And then once it kicks into gear, I find those flavors are pretty prominent throughout. And then it actually says that in the Cigar Aficionado review. It's sneaky strong.
Yeah.
Gets towards the end and really picks up a string. That's something Cigar
Sneaky.
Aficionado said as well.
So yeah, no, it does, because I've made that mistake before.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we're probably going to get down to the end, and we're all going to be like reaching for Diet Cokes to overcome nicotine.
Well, no. I made
nausea.
sure I stopped early and had a bagel on top of my normal just regular boiled eggs.
Right.
I stopped and had a bagel on the way just to.
Well,
prepare
and
myself for
I knew we
ESG.
were going to smoke this cigar this morning too, so I made sure I had a substantial breakfast.
Yeah, Brenda got surprised with that this morning because we hadn't decided what we were going to smoke yet.
Yeah.
And so Paul yesterday goes, well, the only thing that we can really smoke in the morning is the ESG. I go, okay, that'll work.
Yeah.
It's like a eat a big breakfast morning kind of.
Yeah,
cigar.
you know what?
Yeah.
Empty stomach, haven't eaten anything today.
You take a
all
break.
night-
in the
Unlike you girls, I can smoke heavy in the morning.
You can,
I like a nice full body
yeah.
in the morning with a nice cup of coffee. But
all 98 pounds
you
of
know,
Brenda can pound a full
full
sheet.
body
can.
cigar,
You
no
hold your own
problem.
when it comes to
Yeah.
that. Oh, that's great.
But
That's
hey,
great.
if he's buying $20 cigars, I'm smoking them this morning. So,
Absolutely, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter when you can smoke them. We're gonna smoke them, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's cool. What are some of your other popular cigars? So let's talk about cigars in this price range.
Yeah.
Before we talk about morning smokes, we talk about morning smokes a lot.
Yeah.
Cigars in this price range. I mean, if you're gonna spend $20 on a cigar, right, it damn better be special.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about Padron, but there's other options in that price range.
La Aurora Preferido tubes. Obviously, our shopping club's favorite is the Black Diamond in the tube. They're tough to find, but they're phenomenal sticks. But whether it's the Connecticut, which I'll smoke in the morning, or the Cameroon, even the Emerald. The Emerald's become the second most popular one as of recently. We've got several guys who are smoking through the Emerald tubes. At that $20 price point, there's very few cigars, and that's just an exceptional cigar. And it's a longer smoke than you think it is by the size of the cigar.
Now, there's different. La Aurora makes the Cameroon Preferido, which is probably my pick for a morning style
Lancero.
cigar in that price range. They make the Lancero, but they make other Cameroon cigars which are lesser in price as well. So some people might be able to afford to smoke a $20 cigar every morning.
Yeah.
But they have plenty of those $7 to
Yeah.
$10.
So what is the other line? Is it just the La Aurora Cameroon?
Yeah,
right?
you got the La Aurora Cameroon line.
Yep.
They've got the 107, which is a little bit stronger, but that Cameroon line is a different line. The standard La Aurora Cameroon line is just good, solid stick.
Yep.
Typical Dominican, high quality. You've got Fuente, you've got La Aurora. Is that African Cameroon or is that? It's all of the Preferidos are African Cameroon.
The regular line.
The regular lines, you get less and less African Cameroon out of regular lines from everybody.
Yeah.
Because they can't get the tobacco.
Right.
They just can't get the tobacco. When they do, it's ungodly expensive. So it has to stay to the Preferido. So a lot of it's Cameroon seed grown in Dominican.
Right.
Yep.
So when someone comes in and wants to spend $20 on a special cigar, where do you steer them?
You know what? That's where I'm a toss-up because I am a smoker. I necessarily, someone comes in, they're willing to spend $20 on a cigar. I don't necessarily push them into a $20 cigar. There's so much stock in our humidor. There's a cigar for everybody in there. You don't have to spend $20 to get a good smoke. Ashton itself, a lot of their lines from their classic Connecticut's, their VSGs, ESGs, the new Symmetry. There's a lot of movement in those lines to kind of put people in, and they're not necessarily all of them aren't $20 cigars. They might be 13, 12, 14, but you're still getting good smoke at that price. And it's about trying to find a cigar for the right person.
I think you bring up an excellent point, though. If someone says, "Well, I want to spend around $20 for a cigar," the difference between a $15 cigar and a $20 cigar oftentimes isn't that much.
No.
You can get
The key is if somebody's looking for a gift then you want to keep them there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now they want, and that's where, you know,
because they have a price range in mind.
It's either going to be,
and
at that point, it's either going to be the Preferito in the tube because it's such a nice presentation, or it's going to be a Padron Anniversary because those are the ones that are going to have the gift impact. But as Brenda said, you don't always have to. If they say they're looking to spend about $20, if you can put them into a cigar at a regular Preferito at $15, $16, $17, or an Ashton at $15, $13, $14, $15, or the 64 line of Padron instead of the 26 or the 80th or those.
I like that
it's
Padron pyramid 60 in the 64 line, and
Yeah.
that makes a great gift too because that's a nice
Unique.
shape to that cigar. It's very unique, very cool. My last question, I guess, is kind of something I always like to ask all of my retail friends in the tobacco business, and that's what's hot in selling in your store now. What's the big seller going on now?
Well, Melania's always been a good seller. I've been smoking Melanios for a while.
Then the
Leo
rating,
Melanio. That was actually the #1 cigar, and it was funny because I was trying to make bets with everybody on what the cigar of the year would be, and I was actually right, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Did you get the
once
size?
in my lifetime? Woohoo!
Did you get the size?
Huh?
No, not
no,
the size.
I
just the
said
line.
the Melania.
Because the size
But-
surprised me.
But you know what?
certainly.
Surprisingly, it's hit or miss. Either people love or hate the Figurado.
I was not a fan of the Figurado.
To
I like
me-
the Corona,
But it's funny because
the Petite Corona.
the two
Yeah.
most popular sizes even before the rating were the Corona and the Figurado. We had a group of guys who smoked the Figurado all the time.
It does have a unique flavor profile on that size.
It does.
Yeah.
But actually, it was funny because most people's pick for the #1 cigar, they thought it was going to be the Symmetry. I didn't think it was going to be. Once the ESG had #8,
Yeah.
I knew you weren't going to see the Symmetry at
No.
#1 because that's an unbelievable cigar.
Yeah, it is.
Is that Symmetry?
See, I smoked those when it first came in. I got to revisit.
You've got to
Yeah.
revisit it.
Yeah, I do a
Because-
lot of revisiting lately.
Yeah.
That's one of those cigars that it doesn't matter where people's flavor profile is.
Yep.
They all like it, whether they're full-bodied
Yeah.
or more medium people. They'll smoke that Symmetry and be like, wow.
Yeah.
Now you still have a lot left in stock off the Cigar Aficionado 25.
Yes, we
Yep.
do.
list.
Yep.
So you can call the store. What's the phone number for the store?
401-287-4250.
Give them a call and order up a lot of different cigars that are on the Cigar Aficionado's top 25 list. Well, we're going to finish up our Ashton ESG 22-year salute.
And Brenda's going to do that as she's opening up the
Yes,
shop
the
next
shop,
door.
yeah.
Paul and I are going to sit around and finish our cigar first.
there you go.
Nice. Put the woman to work. That's how it usually is.
Well, thanks, Todd.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks.